Let me say this, and this might get people in trouble. My DM to figure out how to join was Jack Tomlinson.
Show a little bit of ourselves.
I think forever it's probably going to be my favorite match. I walked out and I could not believe how many people were there.
You could feel it was something special. Usually people don't get to debut on a stage like that.
There's less tag teams, and there's less prominent tag teams, especially on the independents.
Immediately there was that bond.
It's like 4 main trainers that help train us consistently. Brian Myers, Bronson, Aaron Work, Max Caster. So we did the entrance. It was a lot of fun. Vecchio's great.
I just thought that it would be cool to have a first ever shooter girl. Honestly, the next big moment is, I'm excited for the next one.
We haven't even started. We are so hungry.
Your one's still not done yet. We're gonna take over professional wrestling together. This is as serious as it gets for me.
There's no trying it once I start. I had no interest in teaming with Anthony at first.
I wouldn't have interest in teaming with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, hosted by Coach C, Chris Sanders, this is Best for Business.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. Another episode of Best for Business. Man, I'm so pumped for this one. The Shooter Boys, thank you for joining me for this one.
Let's go, baby.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
I'm pumped
Chris.
for this. I remember at one of the live pro shows where I formally got to meet you guys. You guys been supporters since like week 3, week 4, since the beginning. So to have you guys on, to see your journey since then especially, man, I'm pumped for this one.
Thank you, man. Pumped to be here.
Now,
hey, you were one of the first people to support us, honestly. So
True. That's true, too.
It was like a weekend. We had like our first video. You hit us up. So
I always appreciate you. Now, this is your first podcast, right?
Yes, very first.
So usually I don't do this because people do a bunch of podcasts, but for you guys, you haven't. So walk me through the start of Creative Pro Wrestling. Whose decision, falling in love with wrestling, whoever wants to go first. How did that start for you guys?
You want to start, Aaron?
you got it. You started first, pal.
All right, here we go. So getting started at Creative Pro, I got started. It was like September 7th was the exact day because my birthday was August 25th. And when I turned 18, I knew that I wanted to do professional wrestling. That's all I've ever wanted to do since I was a little kid. I've loved it since I was a little kid. My dad got me into it. His grandfather got him into it. So he was always trying to push it on me when I was little, and I was hooked. I was hooked. And I knew that this was always what I wanted to do. And I decided to stay home, not go away to school. And because the best wrestling school for me was here on Long Island at Creative Pro, and their success was really undeniable. So I knew that's where I wanted to be.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it's kind of a similar story. Like in my whole life growing up, to be honest, I never even really considered it. I didn't think it was possible. I was like, I'm too small. It's no way. I didn't even know how to start, really. And then senior year, I was wrestling, and my first match, 20 seconds in, I got slammed overhead by a big dude, and I broke my wrist first match. And I was like, wow. And I was off the shelf for a few months. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, wow, now my season's over. I got to think about what I want to do with my life. And I wasn't getting accepted into like all these colleges. And so I was like, all right, whatever. And I applied to this college, Old Westbury, which is like 15 minutes away from Cap, which I figured out because randomly my dad was like, yo, you want to go to a wrestling show? And like we hadn't been watching wrestling really at the time, but I showed up. I said, whoa, this is sick. I didn't know anything other than WWE. And I was like, bro, I'm so close to the ring. This is pretty awesome. I went to another Cap show. I talked to Brian Myers. I was like, hey, I'm 17. Can I join? He was like, nah, come back in a few months. I was like, dope. Came back in a few months, and my birthday is October 21st, so I started October 25th, 4 days after I turned 18, and like I knew when I started, I was like, all right, there's no trying it, and once I start, like this is our decision. This is what I'm going to do. So
yeah, so to go with that, to start with you, Anthony, you said there's no other place better than Cap. So what was it specifically about Cap you think that stuck out to you?
Honestly, I think it was when I saw the Leo Sparrow match with MJF.
Oh, yeah.
Like Aaron, I didn't go to any cap shows actually before joining. But I saw it online, and then I was like, yo, this is insane. This is here on Long Island. Like, and then you look at who came from there, like Statlander, MJF, Bronson, Caster, like the list goes on and on. Like more recently, like, you know, you got Bryce, Aaron Rourke, like all these insane names. So I was like, dude, like I'm so serious about this. This is what I want to do. Why would I not go here? You know? And I figured this was a great spot to put our to get a foot in the door. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, was that the same situation for you too, Aaron? And when you used to go to cap shows, like who was your guy? Like who's your favorite?
Great question. So I found out about Cap through MJF because like he was popping at the time, right? Because it's like this is when he was. I think he just won the champ, or he was maybe chasing, or he just did the promo, like. And I wasn't really watching wrestling crazy at the time, but I just started hearing MJF. I started watching AEW, MJF. I was like, yo, this dude's sick. And I kept learning more about him and liking him more. He's like a shorter guy. He's not the biggest guy in the world. He's from Long Island. Like I started like really becoming a fan of MJF. And then, I don't know, I watched his interviews. I heard about Creative Pro. I'm like, okay, he says it's the best school in the world, whatever. So then just by chance, my dad brings me to that Cap show. And I was like, dude, these guys are like awesome. Because, when you don't know wrestling or you don't really know anything at the time, you're just a fan. You think, oh, WWE is like the only place, or AEW, and you don't even really know how these guys start, right? You just think they show up there and they're the best like in the world. And then, but I went there and I was like, dude, these guys are all great. And I saw people I knew, right? Because I saw Brian Myers, I saw Heath, I saw names that I knew. I was like, Mark Sterling was there. I was like, dude, and Caster was on commentary. MJF showed up that day and he did commentary. I was like, dude, this is pretty sick. And then I showed up to the second show I showed up to was the MJF Homecoming show with Leo. I'm in the crowd there. Bro, if you look in the video, I'm sure you could find me somewhere. I had no idea it was going to happen.
Baby.
I'm big fan right here. Yeah. So and my guy, I don't know if I had a guy because I only went to 2 shows and then I started wrestling. But the person that I noticed at the first Cap show that I went to and I DM'd to figure out how to join was Jack Tomlinson.
Oh, he's the man.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I saw Jack in a battle royal, and I was like, he looks like he could be my age. So like, let me just reach out, and I just reached out to him, made a DM, looked like
perfect guy to do that to. By the way, like if you had to pick anyone at Cap DM and hit up, it would be Jack.
Jack went out of his way to like give me a full response, like voice recording, tell me exactly how to get started, and like really nice of him. He didn't have to do that, but yeah.
So that's crazy. So the first thing I want to ask you, we can go back to you, Anthony. You mentioned all those names like Bryce Donovan, Aaron Working, before that Caster, MJF. But before that, being at Cap, what do you think, no matter who it's from, what do you think are the biggest lessons you learned at Creative Pro so far, either in or outside the ring?
You get out what you put in. I think that's it. People could be upset with where they're at or whatever in their career or doing certain things, but I feel like it's really what you put into it. In Creative Pro, there's no secret. It's just work hard. You sign up. It is not easy. This is a sport. This is it. Everything hurts. You're going to be sore. You're going to take your bumps and bruises. You got to be at practice 3 days a week. You keep grinding though, and rewards will come out of it. Success just doesn't happen like that overnight. And when I started at Creative Pro and when Aaron started, I think we both had a very similar mentality. Like, this is our life now. Like, I didn't go to do amateur wrestling and stuff in college and stay here to do nothing. Like this is as serious as it gets for me. This is what I want my life to be. And I was just 3 days a week at Creative Pro ever since I started. And because of that, it led to really big opportunities early on for both me and Aaron. So I think the biggest lesson I learned is you get out what you put in.
Aaron, what about you? What's that biggest lesson you've learned?
Yeah, he really covered all bases there. But I'd say biggest lesson, I mean, again, that's the thing I love about Cap, right? When I'm talking about Creative Pro is that there's really no like secrets. Like it's like you show up, work hard, and you're gonna see results. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The trainers are maybe the best role models I've seen just in life, right? Because the guys like Caster, like Aaron Rourke, Bronson, Brian, all these guys, they're such great role models in every facet of professional wrestling, and then also in real life. They're professionals in the highest way, right? Because like they show up, they outwork everyone else, and then that's still not enough, and they keep working. And I if I could pick another like a lesson, it's just like be relentless. They definitely push it upon that's like take full accountability, right? Take full accountability, Don't blame anybody else. It's nobody else's fault that you're not getting opportunities or you're not winning this or you're not doing that. It's take it on your chest and go to practice and keep working. It's no one else's fault.
So you guys list a bunch of people. So I'm curious, throughout your career since the start of the beginning, who would you guys say are your biggest mentors so far in wrestling? Because the thing I love about you guys in 1 year not even have been everywhere. You're doing the drives with Creator Pro people. I'm so pumped when I go to live pro shows. I run to come across you guys. Chaotic Wrestling, you guys are making surprises. So who have been some of your biggest mentors?
You want to go first? Or you want me to go
Yeah. So there's a lot. It's tough because Cap is like,
I know it is.
It's a family, right? But trainer wise, I'd say it's like 4 main trainers that help train us consistently: Brian Myers, Bear Bronson, Aaron Work, and then Max Caster. And those 4 are so instrumental. Like without them, we wouldn't know how to lock up. I mean, like we learned everything in that ring from those 4, like, and all 4 of them have such distinct styles. If I could just, like Brian, right? He's the professional. He's been everywhere for 20 years. There's not anything you could ask him that he wouldn't know. Bronson, he's another guy Bronson's been wrestling for a long time. He has so much experience.
Yeah. I used to draw pictures of him.
Bro, great guy. And he's also the nicest guy. Nicest guy you'll ever meet, Bronson. Yeah. Nicest guy in the world. Love that guy. And he brings so much to like just like learning how to do certain things in the ring, Aaron Work. I mean, I see Aaron Work wrestle and I'm like, I wish I was like, I wish I could be that. He pisses me off when he does.
He's okay.
Anthony thinks he's all right. I think he's pretty good. Above that. No, he does things so easily. I don't understand how he does it. It's crazy to me. He, whatever. He was one of the first early ones on there that really took us under his wing. And then Caster, we saw Caster a lot after practice in open ring, and we just started like reffing for him, and then we started just hopping in there and wrestling with him. And without Caster, I mean, I think we'd be half the wrestlers we are now because we just wrestle him. And just wrestling a guy like Caster, you learn so much every time you wrestle him. He's so good. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, as all of those guys are. But
yeah. Truly. I really, those are my 4 too.
Nice.
That really, Aaron really covered it there.
But I would say outside of the ring, we also do have other ones, right? Guys like Bryce Donovan, guys like Dante Drago, guys like even, Nick Robles, he's around us, but guys like that, like a Dante Drago, and even Bryce is the big guys like Bobby Orlando. Bryce had no reason. He hadn't really seen us wrestle, right? He was just going off of what he'd heard. Yeah. And he really had no reason to put all of his trust in us, but he did. He gave us the big match on the 10-year anniversary show. We showed up, and then he said, all right, let me give him a main event match at Cap TV. We had he just, for whatever reason, believed in us to the highest ability and like kept giving us these opportunities and like introducing us to promoters. We don't get on the big shows and these opportunities without those guys vouching for us, and we appreciate them.
And they also are always there for like advice, like in and out of the ring. Like all the people that we mentioned, always there for us constantly in and out of the ring. Like those are our go-to people right there. And we're very lucky because like Aaron said earlier, Cap is very much like a family. Mm-hmm. And those are the people you're with all the time. So to have those people in your corner, you couldn't ask for a better support system.
Yeah, Dante Drago gives great business advice. If you ever need some business advice, bro, Serious Goose, he's the
best.
He's the best. They don't just say that for no reason.
Now, Aaron, is Jack Tomlinson giving you any more advice, or is just that one time at DM?
It was just that one time.
Oh, okay.
No, Jack. Jack gives it. I mean, it's more been those guys. Jack's got because Jack's so busy, bro. Yeah. Jack's one of those guys that's like, he's so talented and he does everything better than
dude. Yeah.
I'm like, why is he? He's another one like Aaron Work. I'm like, he just.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
He's wrestling, bro. Jack will show up to practice and do everything perfect, and I'm pissed. I'm like, dude.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
No, Jack's great.
So another thing I'm curious, when I talk about the Shooter Boys, one thing I love, and I've told you guys, is that mentality you guys have, that focus for pro wrestling. Now, I'm curious, when people start sometimes they're thrown in tag teams, and it doesn't stick all the time, But for the Shooter Boys, I'm curious, what was your guys' first interaction and who thought of the Shooter Boys? Because I know Castor before, he thought of teams like VBU, so I'm curious who thought of the Shooter Boys.
So Shooter Boys, well, we met at Cap. I remember Aaron's first practice. We were actually waiting because I was like a month before Aaron.
Yeah.
So I was still the new guy, and I was like catching on to things quicker, like trainers like me or whatever. And then like Aaron shows up, and I could tell right away. I was like, I have a feeling this kid has like a similar background to me, like as far as like the amateur wrestling goes and stuff. So I went up to him and I was like, hey, like, what's your name? He was also the only one that like kind of looked like closer to my age, and he's like, oh, I'm Aaron. And I was like, you do any sports or whatever? He said how he wrestled. I was like, okay, me too. So immediately there was that bond, and we just like gravitated toward each other. But then like it pissed me off in the beginning because he was just as good, if not better, at doing certain things
Yeah.
very quickly. And
He still
immediately I
pisses me
saw it
off.
as competition.
I want to say that.
What'd you say?
No, nothing. Just keep going.
All right, whatever, bro.
You're doing
Whatever.
great.
I'm trying to give you compliments here,
No,
pal.
it's fine. You got it. You got it.
So, yeah, no. So I saw it as competition, and I was like, oh crap, like I want to be better than this kid. Like, but it really was a case of iron sharpening iron, and because of our background, same age, like everyone was like, oh, Shooter Boy. Like it kind of just naturally happened. It wasn't like I mean, maybe someone behind the scenes, there was one person in particular.
Yeah.
But like we heard, I want to say it was from either Aaron Rourke or Bear Bronson. For the first time where we were like backstage, I want to say, like get backstage at Creative Pro is like the locker room area. And we're getting changed after a practice, and someone told us like, hey, I don't know when or how or whatever, but I'm pretty sure like when you guys debut, it's going to be you two together as a tag team. And I don't know about Aaron, but I had my first initial reaction. Like I was like, oh, cool. But inside I was like, man, because you watch wrestling a lot of the time, you think you want to be like the next John Cena or Steve Austin or whatever, or The Rock. But like it was cool because then that was me just not thinking.
Yeah.
And before I thought about it and reflected on it, I was like, you know what? We have a lot more potential as a team than as a singles, especially when starting out. Because with him being as good as he was, and me, like it was good to like come up together and do this together and have someone there with us constantly, like the other one. And it was like brotherhood since then, man. Like, and it was off to the races.
Nice.
Sky's the limit.
I had no interest in teaming with Anthony at first.
I wouldn't have interest in teaming with you either. That's why I was pissed.
Like I don't know. I know. Like I really didn't think I was gonna be a tag team guy. I was like, bro, this is not gonna work. I'm not a tag team, blah, blah, whatever. This, that, and that. But eventually, yeah, we kept practicing, kept training, and we're like, all right, it was working kind of. There might be a chance here. And then the more and more we kept going, we're like, all right, you know what? Like we're starting to see like this could actually be the best play here because there's so many wrestlers in the world.
Yeah.
So many indie wrestlers in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So many singles indie wrestlers in the world. There's less tag teams, and there's less prominent tag teams, especially on the independents now.
But everybody does have that mentality, like they want to be.
Everybody wants to be number one, and we're saying, all right, we know how hard we work. We know we're at one of the best schools here. Like, there's an opening here somewhere. If we can really focus on this, I mean, I really think we can take over here with this tag team. And so we just, we ran with it,
So one of the things that sticks out to me, you guys probably know this too, but when Cardona and Myers started, that was the same situation. They didn't want to be in a tag team, and they threw them together. So hearing that Creative Pro, man, like that's so cool to me. Now, I'm curious. So the way I got introduced to you guys was out of nowhere. Creative Pro posted this promo vignette showcasing you guys, calling out the Even Stevens, all that. Now, in wrestling, it's harder nowadays to do promos, but especially a video like this, it caught my eye immediately. So how did this idea come to be? Your first match against the Even Stevens, but what was like the idea behind it?
So we wanted it to be big.
Yeah.
Like nobody knew us, so we definitely need to introduce ourselves, show a little bit of ourselves. And there's our camera guy, and he's big into editing. He's
He's
really
the GOAT. Hightower. I am Hightower.
Oh, he rules.
On all
big,
social
big,
medias.
big shout out to Hightower, man. He
Great guy.
that video, all that would not be possible if it wasn't for him. He's the coolest guy in the world. He's down to help in any way he can. He's huge in helping a lot of people at Creative Pro behind the scenes with their videos and vignettes. And if they use him, I promise you, like, you'll get the highest quality product. And so it was for us, it was a no-brainer. And he wanted to do it. He was excited to do it, which was even cooler. So we were just bouncing ideas off of each other, and we were like, you know what? Let's just go to this gym. We'll show people what we're about, and we'll talk about what we're about and sum up what the Shooter Boys really are about and what people can expect.
His only direction was like, yo, just like do what you guys would normally do. We're like, all right, say less. We just did like a wrestling practice, and then maybe, did a few like exercises other than that look cool, like the hammer on the tire or whatever. We just started working out and wrestled around a little bit, and he made that just look so much cooler than what we, and it got way more traction than I ever thought it was gonna. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Bro,
yeah. I didn't expect the amount of people to repost it and be that supportive of it, and like actually obviously that's the goal, is for everyone to get into it, but like I didn't think it would happen like that, and it was really cool to see.
Nice. So the next thing I want to ask you about is that promo was designed for that first match against Even Stevens. Now, Even Stevens, they've been going for a minute. I remember in middle school I used to draw them pictures and send to Cap to get signed. But you guys, everything about it. So I'm curious. Packed house for you guys. Stacked show. The place goes nuts for you. But walk me through everything. The selection of the song, the color scheme behind the gear. How pumped were you guys for this? Because like you said, your goal was pro wrestling.
Oh my God, dude. So pumped isn't the word. I don't even know what the word is.
It's wild because it's like you say, like I the first thing I thought of when you said song and like gear and all this, it's like so funny that like this was our life, but in reality we had only thought of like, all right, we show up and we train, but other than that we really didn't think about like gear and a song and like everything else. We were just like, all right, show up, train, get better at wrestling. It was like that mentality for the longest time. And then all of a sudden we just hear like, because we had heard rumblings, right? Yeah. And then we get told with like not short notice, but like not crazy notice that like, oh, you're going to be on the biggest show in Cap history, like the 10-year show. And you're going to have a real genuine tag match against
Crunch time, baby. Crunch time.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got to figure this out. Like honestly, I don't think there's anything special to the color scheme except we thought, oh, it's cool colors.
I thought you'd say
the song, you want to know the reality behind the song pick, which, a little spoiler here. I don't know if that'll be the song for long, but the song pick was chosen in a group chat with Bryce Donovan and us two. And Bryce goes, hey, pals, we're like a week away from the show. What's your entrance music? And we're like,
originally, I was just like, because Aaron is very much go with the flow. Yo, whatever happens. I'm like, bro, you got any song ideas? I don't know. What do you think? I'll this one maybe, or that one. Like, I'm stressing. I'm a little bit of the opposite. We balance each other out pretty well. I'm like, man, what song could we use? I don't even know. Like, because when you're like younger or whatever, and you imagine it, you're like, oh, this song would be so cool to come out. Yeah. You're like, oh, this would be my wrestling theme. When it actually came time to do it, man, I have no idea. There's so many songs.
Yeah.
So originally, I was gonna go with something very basic. I was like, what if we do Seven Nation Army? We come out to Seven Nation Army, whatever. So Bryce Donovan, again, this goes back to him being kind of like a mentor in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
He was like, look, you could use it, but I would advise against it because I think it is very much overused. Everyone, it's very typical, whatever. He's like, maybe try and think of something different if you can. And we're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. So then I chose All the Lights, not really for any specific reason. Aaron liked the song. I liked the song. And we were just like, all right, we'll roll with that because we don't know anything else. But my brother, the idea came for me because my brother, like, he comes out in his wrestling meets now he came out to Power
Nice. Yeah.
So like I was like, it's kind of like same vein. So that's where it came from for me.
Nice.
Yeah. But as far as the match, just so we can answer the whole
Yeah,
question.
walk me through like your music's about to play. Like the place is going nuts for you. I watched the back right before this. Like you guys had to have chills coming out.
Oh my God.
Yo, so yeah, Anthony knows like 9,000 people. I don't know. Bro, he brings out all of Long Island for the show. Like I had like 10 people. I don't maybe less. I had like my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, and then like some other people. I just just
So like
fan.
10 people.
This
Yeah,
guy
still
brought
10
everyone.
people. Some people can't even do that.
That's what
Listen,
I'm saying though. That's what I'm saying though. I told him
pretty
that.
good, pretty good.
Yeah.
This guy brings an army, which I was very happy about. So yeah, we like, dude, it was just a different vibe, right? Because we helped out on multiple shows. Like I hadn't helped out on a Melville show before, so I didn't have that vibe. But I'd helped out on multiple shows. It was such a different feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember walking in just like wow. And me personally, I don't know about Anthony. We are different in that way when we like. I know the saying is like, oh, if you don't get nervous, you don't feel ready.
Mhm.
Like I personally, I'm kind of like the opposite. When I feel nervous, it's like I'm not ready. Like I don't want to, dude. I feel most comfortable when I'm like, all right, like this is the easy part. Like
Yeah.
training's hard, like getting everything else, bro. We're about to get out here. Like bro. We gotta go. I'm not nervous. We're this is what we do. This is what I do. Right.
Yeah.
We want to do this for a living. We want to get paid to do this. This is our job. So like even in my first one, I was just bro. I had like adrenaline like crazy. Like I was so excited. Like I wish we could. We don't do this as much anymore, but like for our first few matches, we would like we would do every warm up. We'd be like running across because Melville has a big like locker room,
Mhm.
so much space. We're like doing sprints, bro. Doing sprints. We're pumping in every way. It was yeah, and then like oh yeah, dude. And our match was supposed to be the first one after intermission. And Brian's like, "Yo, like, we're going a little over here, so we're gonna cut intermission." We're like, oh, and he's like, "Yeah, you guys are on now."
Wow.
We thought we had 15 minutes, and he goes, "Yeah," and so we're like, "Okay, we got to go." So the music was a little off that night too, so we didn't even really hear the music that well.
Ours actually was probably one of the better.
One of the better ones.
Yeah.
But we just heard the crowd, bro. I walked out and I could not believe how many people were there. And I could not believe how loud it was. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, dude. I didn't even peek through the curtain. I wanted my first genuine live reaction to be like when I actually saw everyone there. Like I saw, I mean, the amount of chairs that we were putting out. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Like
Yeah.
that whole day, it was like a sick vibe, and I like you could feel it was something special. The 10-year anniversary show for Creative Pro, like it was unreal, you know, like we're getting this major opportunity. Like usually people don't get to debut on a stage like that, you know, like so to do that was it definitely dawned on us that it was something special. And like that night when the crowd started filling up and you heard the buzz from in the back, I'm like, dude, this is sick. Like
Yeah.
I could not wait to walk out there. And when we finally did, and I finally saw everyone, and it was really in the moment, like I took a step back, but it was really a step back, like, whoa, like this is about to happen. This is about to go down. Something I've imagined a million times in my mind, having my debut match, and it's finally here. And I couldn't have asked for a better way to do it.
So you guys go, you have that match with Even Stevens, but then you build something even bigger with them. You have the sit down interview, and what was it, like a 2 out of 3 falls match or something?
2 out of 3 falls, Cap TV in August. So we had that Melville match with the Steves. We kicked their ass. Then we had Limbrook. We were kicking their ass, and then they cheated.
Unreal.
And then, led to 2 out of 3 falls. And especially, it was crazy because, like, I feel like that early in the people's careers, they usually don't have to do the 2 out of 3 falls, but I was very comfortable doing that. I think Aaron was too, like, because of our backgrounds and where we come from, like, that grind, that, like, going the distance, that mentality, like, that's where we thrive, man. So 2 out of 3 falls, I was excited to do it, and we thought it played into our strengths a little more than Steve's, and it turned out to be that way. We beat them in the 2 out of 3 falls, but the sit down interview, that whole feud with them, where I look back on it fondly, even though I hate to give the Steves their credit.
Yeah.
But I look back on it fondly because if it wasn't for that, like that was really the launching pad for us, I feel. With
Yeah,
everything.
those guys are horrible people, but great professional wrestlers. Honestly,
The
they're
worst people.
worst
Yeah.
people. They say the best, they're not. But like, yeah, during that, I wanted to say during that 2 out of 3 falls match, I don't know if you watched it, but like, we did a suicide dive, and it was maybe the second time I've ever done one. I almost impaled myself into the wall
First
or
time.
whatever. What?
That doing the dive.
Oh yeah, remember? You remember doing the dives, pal?
Yeah.
You were fine. I dove head first into the wall, and I just wanted to say that's kind of like a theme for our first matches because we were going so fast. I remember like when we wrestled TJ and Doug, and like it was a main event, and I didn't really have that many moves, and I was like, Anthony, you know what? Like maybe I'll just do an elbow drop. And he's like, you ever done one? And I was like, nah, never did an elbow drop. Just did it. Like a lot of it was like we did so much of just like going to practice and just training. We didn't think about everything else once it started. So
Yeah.
once it started, it was like, all right, you need moves, you need this, you need to do other things, So it was kind of like just keep going at that point.
So something else that sticks out about the Shooter Boys to me now. Before this interview today, I watched like almost every match of yours, see what I could pick and ask you guys about. But something that sticks out about you guys is the charisma and the gift of gab, sort of. But like, how did you guys get that confidence? Obviously, you did wrestling in high school and other things, but talking on the mic always. Did you guys always have that?
For me,
Mhm.
truthfully, I did. I'm kind of a shy person,
Yeah.
but like when the spotlight's on me, I love it. Like I
Mhm.
feed off that. Like I'll be so straight up. I love being the center of
Yes.
attention. But I think like that's kind of the case with most professional wrestlers, right? Like you're doing this, like you kind of got to like the attention and be in the spotlight, right? So when I was like a little kid, like my dad, he's the maniac, he's the life of the party. He would always be doing Ice Ice Baby and like rapping Ice Ice Baby. Everyone's watching him, getting behind it. So I saw that as a little kid and I kind of started getting into it. And then I
Nice.
started doing it with him. And then like at my communion and stuff, I was doing it. And like it led into me eventually like doing it at people's parties. Like they'd be like, could you rap with that? I was like, yeah, like and I would get the mic and I love that feeling, right, of having an audience watching. And so I ended up being an MC for a DJ company. And I thrive off that. I love
Nice.
having the attention and having a mic in my hand. Like there's no feeling like it, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, yeah, I guess it's kind of the same. When I was a kid, I did all that acting and all that stuff, and I never was really, in general, it kind of goes with me not being nervous. Like, I don't really like get nervous in those situations. I'm kind of comfortable talking, but I'd say the charisma and like having fun part more is just like all my favorite wrestlers from all time. I just try to emulate them, right? So it's guys like Eddie Guerrero, it's guys like Ric Flair, guys like Shawn Michaels, CM Punk, right? Like all those guys were not afraid of just doing anything, right? And those
Yeah.
were always my guys, like guys like that. The tough guy thing is cool, but look at me. I'm not 6'7". I'm not
Yeah.
255 pounds. Like, bro, I'm not gonna try to pretend to be a tough guy, right?
Mhm.
Like, because I think, and I'll say this just in general, I think a lot of people, professional wrestlers, fall into the trap of like they need to be tough or whatever. And it's like I feel like we are pretty comfortable in who we are because of like the fact that we do know how to wrestle, right? We do know what we're doing, and we're 100% confident of that. We did that our whole lives. We're very confident in that. So it's like I have no problem
Yeah.
being whatever in the ring because that's way more fun. I find that being a million times more fun than like I'm tough. Let me keep a straight face and do this and that. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
It's at the end of the day, it's about entertaining everyone and putting on the best show. And I didn't sacrifice everything or whatever to like. Well, I'm scared of talking or no. Come on,
Yeah.
you gotta do it.
So when we talk charisma, now there's two moments. So I guess the first one that happens, I'll talk to you, Aaron, first. So Limitless Wrestling goes down and Becca's music hits. And everybody thinks Becca's coming out. Out comes Aaron Ortiz. Has a dance move, has everything planned. So walk me through that idea, your personal like dance partner, like how'd that go?
Dude. That's yeah. So that was very
And you
recent.
knew all the lyrics too.
I knew all the lyrics. I
I
listened to the
think if
video.
you don't know the lyrics, then you're living under a rock.
It's cool. She's
People need to
international.
start putting way more respect on the B3cca's name.
B3cca. B3cca. So international pop star Becca, she returned from injury and she started going to training at Creative Pro, like once a week maybe.
Nice.
And we were like, we had started having matches at this point. Like this is literally like 4 months ago. So like she's at training and she didn't know who we were, but she saw us or whatever. And then Aaron Rourke was running training. He goes, all right, we're going to do promo class. And Aaron likes to get real creative with it. So he just gives gimmicks, right? So like he'll give you a prompt. So Anthony's happened to be Jenny from the Block. I don't know what you would think about that. Anthony was like, he had no idea what it was, so he looked it up. He's like, all right, I got to make a promo, but Jenny from the Block. I was given Bulk Bogan. So like Hulk Hogan, but Bulk or what. It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, whatever.
But it makes you get creative.
Exactly. And go out of your comfort zone and give it your all, right? So I went out there. I like put on this crazy, like, I don't even know what I did. I think I like stuffed there was whipped cream left over from like a holiday like thing we had. I put it all over my face. I smacked myself in the face. I was like putting water all over. I was like, let's go, brother. I was screaming, bro. I lost my mind. I started choking on the whipped cream. I was flexing. So I did that, and it was kind of funny. Whatever. It wasn't great, but whatever. And then Anthony goes last, and I'll give him his credit.
The main event, like always, you know.
Oh, okay.
Big diva, this guy. If you want to explain what you did, but
I put on an all-star performance.
It's
a shame that it will never see the light of day. I could leave it up to everyone's imaginations what me as Jenny from the Block would be, but I'll just say this: it was singing, and B3cca. She saw it, and she was impressed by us.
As silly as it is, Becca saw those two promos, and she goes, I got to do something with these guys. Like, I want to do something with them. And then I guess ideas just started rolling, whatever. And she's just like, all right, just pull up to Limitless. And we're going to, a week, literally day of, because Anthony that weekend had got injured at Open. And so he was supposed to be with me, but he was injured. But I still showed up. And till the day of, like, even like minutes before, like 20 minutes before, I still was asking Becky, yo, what are we going to do? Like, and she's like, I don't know. Like, again, this is another one of the scenarios. Yeah. We just don't know what we're doing. And then so, like, I'm, like, doing ring crew at this point. I'm just standing there. I'm like, I'm kind of bummed. Like, I guess we're not doing it. Becca, like, walks out in full gear. She goes, get over here. Come on. I'm like, all right. Well, okay. I run to the back, and I'm just like, I'm like, what do you want me to wear? She's like, put your gear on. I'm like, all right. So I put my gear on. I put a big gold chain that I brought on. And she goes, all right, you're going to go out first. And I was like, dude, these people don't know who I am. It's just like Big Show Limitless. And I'm going to come out dressed as an amateur wrestler to Becca's song. I'm like, whatever, man. I did it. And her song played. I walked out. No one even moved. Absolute silence. I started singing along to it. Still nobody knows who I am. They're like, we don't care, man. What are you doing? Whatever. And then Becca walks out. Like, oh, my God. Yeah. So we did the entrance. It was a lot of fun. Becca's great. Love Becca. International pop star. Can't wait to do more things with her. She's the best.
Yeah, so the next thing when we talk about the Shooter Boys going musical, this blew my mind now. So I think PVD and Drago come out, and then the Shooter Boys come out, and I seen a microphone, so I knew something was up. So walk me through your idea. You mentioned that you can rap and all that, but when did this idea come to be?
So, I match with Dante in Paris, and, we've seen Dante in Paris, obviously. We pay close attention. Dante's a good friend, and we've seen Paris with Dante at Chaotic multiple times, and I just thought that it would be cool to have a first ever shooter girl. I told Aaron, he said, that would be kind of based.
Loved it. Based.
Pretty based. And we went out there, and I figured what better way to try and recruit Paris. I saw that it worked once with Dante. He sang Copacabana, but his version of it to Paris, and I think I don't know what's going on with them too. They're a team. They might be in love. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it worked out. So I said, why not try singing my own version of the song and try and get her to join the Shooter Boys and be the first shooter girl.
It didn't work out.
Did not end up as well. Didn't work out as well as it did for Dante. But you know what? Left the people with a performance that hopefully they won't forget. And I mean, I guess it was decent enough because we're talking about it here.
Yeah. So when we talk Creative Pro Wrestling, I remember, I think it was you, Anthony, that posted the photo. What was it like for you guys to team with Nic Nemeth? I seen the photos online. Was it you, Anthony, that had the signs for him and everything?
Oh yeah, yep. Nic Nemeth was
What a
my
mark
guy.
this guy, huh?
I'm a mark for the shooter boy, so I guess it's fine.
Well, that's okay, but the
Oh,
guy,
okay.
taking pictures with him was Mark. Go ahead, pal.
Who DM Jack Tomlinson?
All right.
I probably did the same thing. I can't even
It's all
lie.
good. It's all good. But no, so yeah, I was like, I want to say I was like 6 or 7 years old, and for Christmas I got a gift, and it was tickets to my first ever WWE live event with my cousin, my brother, and like my like I was so pumped up. And it just so happened that the main event that night was Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena in a steel cage match. And like every kid my age, especially at that time, were huge John Cena fans. I was rooting for Dolph Ziggler. I wanted Dolph Ziggler to win.
Yeah.
Did not end up like that night, but I had a huge sign for him or whatever. And so then when we found out that we were getting this match, it was like, whoa, like this early in our career, like it was really cool feeling. And I was like, this is someone who I've looked up to, in and out of the ring, because he's an incredible amateur wrestler as well. So it was, I was so pumped up. Wrestling with him was like a dream come true. The coolest guy in the world.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
coolest guy in the world. And it was surreal. Like if you would have told me that, like, out of everyone in the garden that night, like someone's gonna team with Nic Nemeth one day, and it's gonna be you, like
He wore our shirt. That was sick.
Wow,
Yeah,
I didn't
like-
realize that.
He
wore our shirt. It
Didn't
was
have to
pretty
do
cool.
that.
Nice. So when we talk Creative Pro Wrestling, what do you say so far are some of your top memories there?
Oof, top memories.
Hmm.
All right, let me take the helm on here. I mean, the obvious answer, right? The debut.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta be honest. I think forever it's probably going to be my favorite match, just because like I look back on my matches now and I'm like, pick this part, but because now we're at that point. But it's like the first one I watched it back recently. I don't even know why. I think I was just like, let me see if it holds up.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, like that's just a moment that like I can't even try to pick it apart. Like it's just something that's like it's a moment, right? It just felt like it's such a good moment, and not even just what you guys saw, right? When we went to the back. The love from everyone in the locker room, it was crazy because it's like, dude, everyone was there. It's not like it was just like everybody was there. Chris Stat, Caster, MJF, Brian, all of the guys we trained with, Los Toxicos, Robles, like Dante, Aaron Rourke, Bobby, everyone was there and congratulated us, and it felt really good because at the end of the day, those are the guys and those are the people that you're trying to impress and you're trying to. We're representing them on their back, right? Especially Brian, he put a lot of stock into us, giving us this big match when nobody knew who we were. And we went out there and we tried to perform to the best of our abilities, and it felt good. It was a good feeling.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. I think that the 10-year show definitely takes the cake for me as like the top memory so far. But I don't know if because that was just something, like he said, it was really special. But the Nic Nemeth match is also definitely up there for me.
Great moment.
And honestly, the next big moment is, I'm excited for the next one. What's to come? I don't know. There's going to be more great moments and more best moments. So people just got to stay tuned,
Is there any moments from Chaotic Wrestling so far that stand out for you guys?
Dude.
Or a match or something?
Yeah, no. A lot of moments from Chaotic.
Yeah.
Because, that was honestly, that was like the really, outside of Cap, that was the first place to use us more than once and invite us back. We just went out for a battle royal that we had come up with Aaron Work for, and Chase saw us and he just said, "Oh, you guys a tag team?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool." And we're like, at least he gave us like a compliment. And then we got like maybe a couple days later, or not, maybe a month later. I think it was a month later because we were kind of hoping we'd get reached out to again, and we hadn't. And then it was a month later. He goes, "Hey, we'd like to use you." And we were like, "Dude, that's awesome."
Nice.
And a good memory of mine, honestly, because it's a pretty cool venue that we wrestled in, was for the Chaotic Countdown when we wrestled the Monarchy the first time.
Yeah.
Sickest venue of all time. Like, we were still really early at that time. So, like, we were like, yo, this is like legit. This is super legit. And we had that match with the Monarchy. That was a really cool memory. What else? You got any? What other?
I mean, yeah, no, like you said, like Chaotic Wrestling, it really was the first place to kind of take a chance on us outside of Creative Pro. Because like Aaron said, Chase saw us, he saw the gear, he was like, yo, like, okay, we got a tag team here. Then he decides to use us on one of Chaotic's big shows, the Chaotic Countdown, like Aaron was saying. So being able to do that and then taking a chance on us, it was just like, it's really cool. I kind of consider it almost like a home away from home kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, my favorite memory or moment at Chaotic was probably, even though we came up short our last match against the Monarchy. I'm pretty proud of that. I think, that we're pretty close to capturing the tag titles. Didn't happen, but it showed that we're right there with the best that Chaotic has to offer. We hung in there with them, and I think that, even though that might not have been our night, I guarantee you that wasn't our last time trying to go after those Chaotic tag titles. So
I'm
Nice.
getting them, pal.
So the next thing I want to ask you, the last company I want to ask you about, do you have any Beyond Wrestling or Wrestling Open memories now? The one match that sticks out to me for you guys first for Wrestling Open was Wrestling Miracle Gen on Halloween. And then the other thing that sticks out, I want to ask you guys your thoughts. What was it like? Bronson goes down and him and Gabby select you guys to wrestle TJ and Doug. So whoever wants to take it, like any moments from there and those specific two.
I'll take Miracle Gen. I mean, yeah, that was definitely like we've been on open before.
Yeah.
Like I think we had wrestled Teddy Goods and Shannon Thomas, and we wrestled each other actually during the spotlight match after our tryout.
That's right.
Yeah, we wrestled each other in our in spotlight match, which was really fun, honestly.
first ever Beyond/Wrestling Open match was against each other, which is pretty
Pretty
sick.
interesting.
Crazy.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like it was a big moment, and it meant a lot that it was kind of branded or kind of pushed as like the older, even though they're still super young, like the older guys that have been around for a little bit, and like these newer guys, right? And kind of seeing where they matched up because Miracle Gen is known and a really good tag team and one of the best in the world. So
Yeah.
getting that opportunity meant a lot, and I really would love to get that back. I want to get that match back. I think we could put on a great show with them, and we're still so early in. We're getting better every day.
Yeah.
Legit. Like we are getting better every day exponentially. By the week, we learn new things. We get new things. We get better because we don't take days off, right? And not in a bad way. Like we don't get injured, knock on wood, to the extent of like we can't go to practice. We go to practice every day that we possibly can to get better. So it's like I would love to get the match back with the Miracle Gen and maybe be able to put a better show on. But I was just so happy to be in there with them.
Yeah.
That meant a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure. And then as far as like the Beyond match, that was our first ever, like, because we wrestled for Wrestling Open, but like that was our first Beyond show, was Heavy Lies the Crown. And like obviously we were not originally in that position. It was going to be Bronson and Gabby versus TJ and Love Doug, a huge match for a huge show, one of their biggest shows of the year to end the year. And like I remember, like I was looking at that show and I was actually in the gym with Bear. And I told him, I was like, dude, that show looks sick. Like, it's got Stat on there, Aaron Rourke's on there, you guys are on there. Like, that's dope. Like, it would be pretty dope to do it. Whatever. Bryce was on there. So, he was like, would you be interested in doing it? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, of course. Like, why would I not be? You know? He's like, you don't care that it's New Year's? I'm like, no, dude. Like, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to be spending New Year's any other way. So he's like, okay, maybe you guys come with us. Like, when it's time for the show, I was like, bro, count me in. Like, I'll go for the ride, whatever. And what ended up happening was unfortunate. Bronson hurt his back. He's had back issues, I think, for a little bit, and it kind of caught up to him a little bit. He had some bad issues. Thank God. I think he's doing better now. But it was bittersweet because we were actually training with Aaron Rourke, getting him ready for his match on that show. And we got the phone call from Gabby letting us know what happened. And she was like, I know this is a crappy situation, whatever, but like we would really love it if you guys were able to like step in and take our spot. And it was really cool. Like, because Bronson, one of our trainers, Gabby, very close friend of ours, Cap graduate, like for them to think of us and be like, yo, like we're going to bat for you guys and we think you guys should get this spot. It was really, really cool. And I mean, to be on a show with like the people that were on there, like you look at that card, it's an insane amount of talent and people.
Right.
And it's insane that we were able to get on that in our first year with wrestling. And it was unfortunate how it happened, how it came about, but like once we were there, we were ecstatic. We couldn't wait to do it and try and prove ourselves, you know?
Nice.
I also want to shout out real quick. I want to shout out TJ and Doug because those guys, like I'm say we're pretty close with those guys. You know, we had our second ever match against those guys in the main event of Cap TV. You know, and it was a long match, like 15 minutes. Like we honestly probably didn't have any business at that point having a main event 15-minute tag team match with guys like TJ and Doug, who are honestly, in my opinion, some of the best wrestlers in the world, right? And, you know, to be able to have that match back, although the circumstances were unfortunate, having that match back with those guys who I know, at that position, they did their best to try to get us in that position, you know, and to have that match, it meant a lot, you know, it was cool.
Yeah. So another thing that just popped in my head, when I think of the Shooter Boys and their resume, something you guys got to do pretty recent stuck out to me. So what was it like being in a garage beer commercial? Because not many people could say they were in a commercial. Or
no, not a lot. Not a lot at all.
Not a lot. Let me say this, and this might get people in trouble. You know, it's funny. We're in a garage beer commercial. We're not even 21 years old, pal.
There's like water in the can or something, probably, right?
That's why we were against it. That's why we were fighting Brian and Matt.
We don't drink.
You think you could drink in our presence?
We're underage.
We're underage, pal.
It's pretty disgusting.
So we had a bone to pick with them.
Many bones.
Because I would have preferred if we were there and there was some Sunny D, maybe right?
Hydration.
Maybe some Coca-Cola.
Nice.
But Brian and Matt, you know, they got this garage beer partnership. So, filming crew was there that day. And we were fighting the whole day, you know, fighting over this issue we got here. But it was very cool to get to do that with guys like Brian and Matt, who, like, again, like Brian, our trainer, obviously, like one of the biggest influences we have, like with wrestling, a lot of what we learn is a trickle down effect from Brian or directly from Brian.
Yeah.
And Matt, like, that's someone, again, like I literally grew up watching those guys. Like, it's insane. I remember being in my dad's apartment with him, watching them win the Raw tag titles at WrestleMania in New York. And I was like, that is so sick. Like, I was pumped. Like, I love those guys. They had their action figures and everything. So to be able to do that with them, it was really cool. It was definitely cool. Nice. And it was like, you know, it's not on your bingo card. It's not like something that you're like, oh, I want to do a commercial with Brian Myers and Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
It's like, that was one of those things that you don't even think of, or it's like, whoa, this is pretty sick. Like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So another thing that sticks out to me now, when was that Cap 10-year show? What month was it?
That was in May.
So not even a year in that Creative Pro, you guys win Tag Team of the Year and Rookies of the Year. So seeing all the work you put in, like you said, Anthony, the work you put in is the work you get back. What does that mean to you? And not even a year to get those awards, especially at a place like Creative Pro.
Man, it's special.
Yeah.
It means that you're held in a high regard by your peers, by your fellow wrestlers, and by the fans. And that's really, really important to me. It shows me that, I guess, we're on the right track. There's not a rule book or a way to go about doing it, but like, I guess we're on the right path. We're doing what we're supposed to, you know, and we, like me and Aaron said in our actual, like our debut promo that you saw, it was like, what's our goal, like in a year's time or just in general? And it was to take over professional wrestling. We want to be the tag team that takes over. We want to be the very best tag team, very best, just the best wrestlers, not even just tag teams. Like, we want to be the best wrestlers in the world, and we're going to do it together. We're going to take over professional wrestling together. We're a main event tag team, pal, and we're showing everyone what we're made of, and we're just getting better and better, and we're going to keep working harder and harder. And like I said, you get out what you put in, and we got those awards, which are special to us. And we're the only tag team that wasn't actually there for a full year and got the award. So
That's insane.
definitely
You
pretty
guys
cool.
deserve it though.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And
It means
it's
a
just,
lot.
it means I think it shows that our hard work's paying off and we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. I appreciate the fans, because that was a fan awarded thing, and to have them believe in us like that, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
The Creative Pro fans have come to like us pretty naturally, from what I could tell.
Yeah.
It feels more like a family than fans. When I walk out there, I'm like, yeah, these are my guys, man. These are my guys. Like, bro, let me like dap all of them up. They're my guys.
Yeah.
It's like wrestling in front of family. It's comfortable. Cap is home. And so it's pretty awesome to win those things. But at the same time, and I put on my goals list before we even knew we were going to be a tag team. I remember I put like a bunch of other things, but on my goals list was Rookie of the Year, win Rookie of the Year, right? It was on the goals list. And we won it, right?
Yeah.
Tag team of the year wasn't even a thought because didn't know we were a tag team. But I think what I'm saying is, like, I'd be pissed if we didn't win. You know what I mean? Not in the way of like we deserve it, in the way of like, this is what we're doing it for, man. Like, we're doing it to be the best. And if we're not winning the best, then clearly we're not working hard enough. You know what I mean? So it's like, nothing's ever expected, nothing's ever guaranteed, and nothing do I ever take for granted. Like, everything we get, I appreciate to the highest level. But again, it comes with that accountability lesson. If we wouldn't have won, I would have been, all right, well, that means we're not working hard enough. We got to keep going. We got to start ramping it up. Yeah. And that's just kind of how I think we look at everything,
So you talk about Creative Pro, how the fans love you, but I'm curious, at Live Pro Wrestling, your first time so far, what's it like to be on the dark side now?
Hey,
I don't know.
Something about Live Pro Wrestling, it just ticked us off.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It just rubbed us the wrong way. And I'm not going to apologize about it. Those guys swipe right. They get ID'd. They think they run the joint. They might be taller than us. They might look better than us. They might pull more women than us. They might have more baby oil on their chest than us. But let me tell you something. They're not better than us. They're not. Waves and curls, they might be taller than us. They might look better than us. They might get more girls than us. They might have better hair. They're not better than us. And we were proving that in that, because we just had enough of it. We rode up with Aaron Work, and we saw this I had enough of it. I couldn't believe it. You go ahead.
For me,
I'm getting pissed off.
For me, I don't think it. You said it's joining the dark side. I don't really look at it like that. I look at it like, we're making a statement. You, like Aaron said, they're WWE ID. Swipe right. Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, very talented wrestlers.
Great guys.
You got Waves and Curls, top tag team. They're the tag champs there for a reason. But what better way to make an impact and get your name in the fold there than to beat up the top two teams there? Top teams. And we want to show that we belong. We want to show that we're the best. Those are some of the best right there. We want those tag titles to prove it. So is it that we're bad guys?
I don't think it's the dark side. I don't think we're dark.
So.
To you guys, it's the right move. It's a smart move. Business decision.
I think it's a strategic move. If people like it, great. If they don't, so what?
We're still going to watch.
We're going to get those titles one way or another.
I don't know if you saw, Chris, but there was a little girl in the front row. And, I'm looking for these championship belts. Okay?
Yeah.
And this little girl, I could not believe it. She wouldn't give me the championship belt. And I don't mean to be a bad guy, right? I don't want
No, of course not.
But she's not giving me. I'm asking a simple demand. Give me the belt. And she goes, I had to snatch it out of her hands. Tough life lessons were taught to me and Anthony. That's how we got to these points. We were taught life lessons at a young age. So, I hope that little girl learned a lesson. When someone that's elder of you asks you for something, you listen. And we had, I had to show her. We don't try to upset anybody. But
right.
If we do, it don't matter because you're still gonna watch.
So when we talk about lessons learned from the Shooter Boys or whoever, what would you say throughout your career have been your biggest test? Because in 1 year, not even, you guys have gone toe-to-toe with some of the best in New England or in your area anywhere.
Yes, we have. Biggest test. Let me think. Miracle Gen's up there.
Yeah.
Miracle Gen was a big test at Open.
I think Wrestling Swipe Right at Wrestling Open.
Big boy test.
That was a big test. You
Yeah.
know, they just got ID'd, and
Was that Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving.
on
Yeah, we're the holiday boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've wrestled on Halloween, Thanksgiving, and New Year's.
That's
So,
crazy. You just got to do Christmas.
all in year one. Year one's still not done yet.
That's
yeah,
insane.
exactly. Coming up on year one in a few months.
But yeah, I think just we got kind of thrown to the wolves even before our debut match because Bryce Donovan, it was after a Cap TV, he invited he like the fans, like he usually, you know, people do like a little goodbye thing, which thanks the fans for coming. Bryce was in the ring. He goes, but before we go, you know, we got these two guys that gonna be making their debut. 10-year show, and had us get in the ring. We had no idea about this. It wasn't
I pulled a shoot on you.
Yeah, man. So we go out there, and like we're thrown to the wolves right away, and it's sink or swim, you know. So there was that. I think that the whole debut match in itself was a test, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of pressure there. It was like it. I know Aaron says like if he's nervous, he's not like that's a bad thing for him. Bro, I'm anxiety, nerves, whatever, until I'm out there, you know,
Yeah.
and then I'm in my zone. But like I was feeling the pressure, man, and it's a lot of pressure. And again, it's sink or swim. It's either you do it or you don't. And we went out there, and I'm very happy, and I look back very fondly on those things. So I think that those early things, and I mean, we're still being tested constantly against teams like we said, like Miracle Gen and Swipe Right and the Monarchy and even Steve, like all Love Doug and TJ, all these teams. It's all been a test.
Same for you, Aaron?
I mean, yeah, no, we've wrestled a lot of great tag teams.
Yeah.
It's tough. We wrestled Shook Crew at a Blitzkrieg Retro World show.
Wow.
That was a tough. I mean, they're the Shook Crew, bro. They were a tough test. I would love to get that match back too. The Heavy Lies the Crown one, even though we've already talked about it, it stands out just because I remember showing up and being in the locker room being like, wow, there's like so many guys around here that have been doing this for years and years and years. They're just the best in the world, like point blank best in the world. And we're here, not even 8 months in, like we're like, dude, this is a big test. Not even just because we were facing, we got to impress everybody, you know. And I think that's something that happens a lot with young wrestlers that are just starting is they get these tests, right? And first of all, just the opportunity is hard to get, right? So to even get the opportunity is the first thing. Get the opportunity, and then once you get the opportunity, it's all about passing that test and then not passing that test. Yeah. And if you pass that test, cool, now you're going to get another opportunity, now pass that. Like, it never stops. Even now, if we get another opportunity and we're granted with that, we have to pass that test. There's no such thing as showing up to the dance and not perform, you know? Yeah. If you don't perform, it's not a business of second chances, you know? And I'm not saying we passed every test, right? I would say we're not afraid to fail, you know? We're still learning. There's no such thing as failing. We're just getting better. But I'd say another test that I think was pretty tough, even like in the moment, was our Wrestling Open tryout and then the match against each other. Like the tryout, nerve-wracking, man. Like they tell you, these are the guidelines. Go out there, show us what you got, and that's all you got. And so the guidelines are tough, and you just go out there, you try your best. You got Drew, you got Crockett, you got everybody.
Who was your tryout against?
We wrestled Los Toxicos.
Oh, nice.
The Creative Pro guys we trained with. And we wrestled them, and we got on the show against each other. And then that was another test because it's like, all right, you got the spotlight match. Wrestle each other and give us a good match that makes sense. And that was a tough one too. But you know, I think
for me, I kind of enjoyed that because like I'm always teaming with this guy, so getting to kick his ass was kind of fun.
He very interesting. Very interesting. The way I remember it, I think it was a tie, pal. But, you know.
So another thing I'm curious about as we're wrapping up now, Aaron, you said something earlier, getting better every day. So since that first match you guys had against Steven Stevens, your most recent, how do you think either the Shooter Boys or you personally have evolved or transformed so far? Because it hasn't even been a year, but you guys have grown so much.
Thank you. I think we have gotten leaps and bounds better in the ring, and that's very like general, but when you are training for I think we were training for 6 months at the time we had our first match, like even now, we're going to get better like 6 months from now. So it's
Yeah.
like you just learn so much more. You do so much more. You go to training and you learn so many things. I think just confidence, right? Like even though I try to be confident in every match, I mean, it only grows the more you get experience, feeling the crowd, getting all these like jitters out the way for your first time here. You're starting to get comfortable and like know who you are, right? Like knowing who Aaron Ortiz is, knowing who Anthony Vecchio is, figuring that out has definitely gotten better. I think the biggest, like, mark my words, right? We come back on here, Coach C.
Okay, let's do it.
Mark my words. I think the biggest change you will see for like next year, 2025, is physically. I think physically, since we are we are 19, right? So we're still growing physically. I think that's the biggest change, at least I'm focused on. This guy's pretty jacked partner. I think physically we're going to take a pretty massive step. We're trying to look like superstars,
Nice.
We're going to go out there. We're going to get bigger. We're going to get stronger. We're going to get more conditioned, even more than we already are. Like that's the best part about what we're doing right now is like, we're just getting started, bro. We haven't even started in my head. We are so hungry. Ideally, we would be wrestling every day if we could. We have dedicated our lives to this. Our lives revolve around wrestling. There's nothing more important to us than wrestling. Like, this is what we're going to do,
Yeah. Anthony, what about you? Have you evolved since that first match?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wrestler.
Yeah. No, yeah, of course, dude. Bro, if you're not getting better, like you learn from your wins, from your losses. Sometimes you learn more from your losses than you do your wins,
Yeah.
It's the things that when you fail, it's like great. Because you could learn from that, So in your first year in wrestling, there's going to be trial and error, of course. Throughout your whole career in wrestling, I think there's going to be trial and error. But it's constantly a learning experience and constantly evolving and changing and getting better. And that's just what wrestling is. And that's what I've come to find out. So I think, like in the ring, I've been learning, but I'm nowhere near as good as I will be, but I'm better than I was, I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. And I want to better myself. And I know Aaron wants to better himself every single day, whether it be physically, in the ring, on the mic, the whole thing, and just getting out there more often, But I'm happy with my progress, but not satisfied. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the question is, what does 2025 hold for the Shooter Boys? I know, Aaron, originally you said when you first started, you made some goals, you've accomplished some, but what else is there? The Shooter Boys, not even a year in.
Well, the big major goal is to get ID'd.
Nice.
Like, let's just be real, right? Let's just put it right out in this. I mean, that's the goal for, I think, probably, or, I'm not going to say should be because people have different goals, but anyone who wants to make a living in wrestling, I mean, there's multiple places to make a living, but WWE is the biggest company in the world, and we all grew up watching it. And I mean, it's a dream to work for their dream company, WWE, right? And there's now a way to get there. And I think that's the main goal. I'm not saying it's going to be 2025. I don't know when it's going to be, right? But we're working towards every day to be the best wrestlers we can be, so that's hopefully the thing that happens for us. We have trainers that are ID'd, both Aaron Work and Bryce Donovan. We know how hard they work to get to where they are. Yeah. And we're just trying to follow in their footsteps. As far as 2025 goes, I think a big goal is we're going to try and get more places. Like, even though we are everywhere, we want to be everywhere consistently. We want to be wrestling every weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, even Thursdays, right? Open. We have all the announcement of the Monday show. We want to be on that. We want to be on every show. We want to be everywhere consistently because we can, right? We can. We're at this point in our lives where we can be everywhere and we can show what we can do. We'd like to travel, like, also, right? Like, I think, we don't want to just be the guys that stay in one spot. We'd like to travel across the U.S. if possible, right? It's a tough thing to do, but if we can wrestle other places in the U.S., maybe in Canada, maybe other places, that'd be ideal too, for us.
100%. I think that this year, 2025, is going to be really important. I think it's going to be a year of evolution and growth for the team, and it's that next level, and just keep leveling up and keep getting better, however that may be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you boys for doing this. However, I end every interview the same now. We'll start with you, Anthony, because you went in the wrestling first. So let me ask you whether you want to talk about yours or the Shooter Boys. The day you decide it's all done, which it's not happening anytime soon, but what do you want your legacy in pro wrestling to be?
Hmm. Oh, that's such a tough question.
You're up first, bud.
I know. That's a good one. My legacy, I I just want people, I just want to look back for myself
Yeah.
and know that I left no doubt and no regret. I live by the saying, leave no doubt. I feel like, again, it's in your work ethic and what you do. And the only excuse for certain things happening the way they do is you got to look in the mirror and realize yourself, So like, I want there to be no regret when it's all said and done. That's how I'll be at peace. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. That's why I didn't go away to some big university like a lot of my friends and peers did. It's because I want to do this. And
Yeah.
I'm believing in myself and I'm trusting in myself. So I think like working hard and leaving no doubt in no matter what it was that I did.
Nice.
I'd say what I want my legacy to be, I strive to be the best wrestler I can be every day. The best wrestler in the world is really what everybody wants to be, right? Everybody says they are. So that's kind of what everyone wants to be. Legacy wise though, I'd like to be I'd like people to know that I gave it my all, I really do care about this to the highest degree, and I'd like for people to maybe if they saw that, when it comes to legacy, it's a tough question because it's like, you want championships, you want to main event this, you want to do that. That's all cool. I think that the encompassing goal though, right, being the best wrestler that you can be, if you genuinely believe that you're worth that stuff, then being the best wrestler that's going to happen, right? These main events will happen. Getting signed will happen. This will happen. That will happen. Whatever. These dream matches, they'll happen if you believe in yourself genuinely. And that might be corny, but it's real. It's genuine. And I more than that, legacy wise, I think I'd like to be remembered as someone who helped other people. Nice. I get a lot of joy, even though I need all the help. I'm in my rookie year. I need all the help, right? Mm-hmm. But like, I love helping other people. It makes me super happy, and it makes me feel really good when I see others, my friends, my people I train with do well. Obviously, it makes me want to work harder too. But I'd like to leave a legacy of someone who gave professional wrestling all they could, and maybe I can show my kids when I have them that this is what hard work is, right? This is what we did. This is I came from. And I'm not saying I came from the dirt because I didn't, but I'm saying like I came from watching Raw by myself every night, 2012, right? And it's so crazy because I remember watching just like a couple weeks ago. I watched Raw on Netflix. We all did, right? The first one. And I remember sitting there and I was watching Seth Rollins cut a promo, and I was like, "That's crazy. It seems so far away right now." But then I thought to myself, I was like, I bet you when he was like my age, he's watching Raw, watching someone like Edge cutting a promo. He's probably thinking, so far away. There's no way. And it's like just the thought of that, right? I don't know how many years, but just the thought of that could possibly be ideally in my head, because you have to be a little delusional to be a wrestler. In my head, it's going to happen. In my head, it's happening. Yeah. So the thought of in 10 years time or however many years time, I'm that guy that I watched on TV. I'm the one that's really what I just want to prove to myself that everything I say is true and do that daily because it never stops,
Yeah. Well, boys, I want to thank you for doing this, man. I remember that first time reaching out to you guys, and now to call you guys friends, see the transition of your career, man. Thank you for everything. Thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you. Thank you, man. It was an honor to be on here.
Now, I don't really do repeats, but I think down the line when you guys make more memories, we got to do a part 2.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just keep evolving, and it'll be interesting next time we catch up what will be different.
We're going to be jacked, Coach C.
Nice. Well, thank you, boys, for doing this. I appreciate it. Now, before I end, I have a question. I've seen the tweets. Who's Shooter Boy number 1?
Bro.
I'm kidding. Thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Best for Business. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.